Sure has been a heavy couple of weeks here, huh, guys? Welcome to August, I think. So I asked the staff to schedule a review based around something uncontroversial and widely safe as subject matter goes. Something that people generally don't pop a blood vessel over, that kind of thing. And it looks like they settled on, a visual album about cultural uplift, about identity and empowerment from Beyonce and the Disney Corporation. Guys, have you been online within the last, decade? We've talked about what words mean, right? Black is King is a visualized, abstract, magic realist narrative visualization of the 2019 multi-artist collaborative experimental soundtrack album The Lion King: The Gift, which featured R&B, Afrobeat, hip-hop, and pop artists from across the spectrum of modern Africa's music scene, including Wizkid, Shadawale, Burna Boy, Mr. Ezai, Tiwa Savage, Techno, Yemi Alade, Busiswa, and Salatel, in collaboration with Western guest musicians and most prominently producer Beyonce, who curated the project as a personal companion piece to the Lion King remake, which she also co-starred in that same year. Described by its producer-curator as more a work of sonic cinema than a conventional album, it's thusly fair to view Black is King as something like The Gift's intended final form, a kind of live-action Afro-pop answer to the likes of Fantasia, wherein a series of dream logic, stream-of-consciousness sequences set within an unspecified, unstuck-in-time fantasy world of Pan-African and Black American imagery paint an archetypal, like in the Jungian sense, story of a young man of either royal or divine lineage falls from grace, hides from destiny, and returns to claim the same from an usurper false king. Said story is played out in striking imagery, aiming to both subvert and affirm the familiar mythic beats it's playing with, relying almost exclusively on a small sampling of movie quotes and the assumption that everyone pretty much knows the plot of The Lion King by heart. The finished piece is credited to being directed by Beyonce herself, credited as Beyonce Knowles Carter, along with sequences directed by an international assemblage including Kwasi Fodjor, Emmanuel J, Blitz Bozwala, Ibra K, Jen Rikiru, Jake Nava, Pierre Debecher, and Dikial Ramash, from a screenplay also credited to Beyonce, in collaboration with Yrsa Dale Ward and Clover Hope, which incorporates the poetry of Warsan Shire. It is now streaming exclusively on Disney+. So what you basically got here is Beyonce shows up to the Disney offices one day like, hey, so I got inspired and did my own personal, way out there, trippy art house remake of The Lion King, put it on the app. And they went, yes, queen. Because you see, kids, when two all-powerful money-making entities that pretty much always turn a profit at whatever they do love each other very, very much. But all kidding aside, and whatever you think of the circumstances that actually bring something like this about vis-a-vis global entertainment business, Black is King is a pretty damn interesting art piece, which is really the only thing you can call it, as it mightily resists any attempt to fit it into some kind of neat genre or medium box. It's not exactly a musical or a feature film or a music video collection, or even really another Lion King interpretation. Yes, the film quotes and familiarity of the basic outline are there, following a young boy whose journey begins in an Edenic coastal setting, presided over by Beyonce as a mother, narrator, goddess figure, and also several other recurring forms of cosmic avatars dancing through alien space landscapes that recall the cosmic camp fantasies of the sci-fi inflected Black and African disco scene, crossed with visuals straight out of Reg, Jodorowsky, or even Luigi Cozzi if you want a really deep cut, before he is led astray and inadvertently into tragedy in apocalyptic slum settings using cyberpunk, Wakaliwood, and Black American Southern horror imagery, grows to irresponsible adulthood and hip-hop infused segments all about flashy cars and sexy nightlife in a present-day African city setting, is called home by elaborate dream sequences of familiar opulence and royalty implicitly transformed by the presence of black faces and black women in particular, occupying spaces of traditional power. So basically, these would be the parts that just look like Beyonce and Jay-Z just hanging around the house, and ultimately reclaims and restores himself and his position. As played out on screen, it's all a lot more and less straightforward than that sounds, collaboration or not. This is the definition of an auteur art project being willed into existence and lovingly obsessed over by someone who can afford to just do that. You know, ascribing whatever meaning to whatever imagery they choose and building an entire narrative around it with a massive cinematic undertaking linking it all together. And let it not be said, she doesn't just hire the best, but also clearly knows her stuff when it comes to avant-garde filmmaking. While there's also plenty of imagery that's just simply actual African and Black American art pieces and styles that will probably be taken as surreal flourishes by some, there's also legit deployment of genuine abstract and pop surrealist art and filmmaking techniques on display that offer subtle and not so subtle nods in the direction of everything from Maya Deren to Ken Russell to Louis Buñuel, Jodorowsky, and even a little Lucio Fulci here and there. The inevitable question arises, of course, as to when something like this crosses over into the realm of overwhelming, pretentious self-indulgence and beyond the degree that any kind of personal vision project already is. Let it not be said that there isn't a certain amount of dissonance in what the through-line narrative provides, that Beyonce herself isn't the main character but figures centrally in almost every major sequence as the voice in the main character's head or a prominent centerpiece in the dance sequences. On the other hand, you know, shoot the best thing you've got, and goddamn, the landscapes are lovely, but the best special effect Black is King has, outside of the music and the jaw-dropping costume work of the literal army of black designers assembled by stylist Zarina Akers to create the dazzling array of looks for the different sequences, and how Beyonce herself looks and performs wearing them, so you can't exactly blame them there. And you know, overall I found it visually gorgeous. I liked the music. A few of the scenes are full-on epic. The bit for Brown Skin Girl especially, once it's clear what the big idea they're going for there, is like, whoa, okay, wow, this is a hell of a piece of filmmaking right here. And despite the prominence of everyone involved, it is a legitimately strange, real, genuine head trip of a conceptual art piece. Even if, yes, the fact that it keeps reminding you that this is Beyonce and a Disney cartoon from the 90s, yeah, it's a little less like staring at a blacklight poster on acid with your college roommate, and a little more like watching The Lion King high with like someone's mom, and she keeps leaning over going, "Did you ever really think about Hakuna Matata? No. Did you ever really think about it?" But then, you know, isn't that the way this is supposed to work? Isn't the deal we make with rich entertainers is that if we're gonna have a system whereby you can make so much money you never have to worry about making money again, that eventually you pay it back by either doing uplifting, socially positive stuff or weird experimental art that no one's ever going to experience without your name attached to it? And this is kind of doing both, and a pretty good job of it. There's a lot going on in this that would not be in front of even 1/100th the eyes it will be if it wasn't Beyonce on a Disney app. So in that respect, I'm gonna say 7 out of 10, recommended. Just, you know, nobody let Kanye see this and decide he needs to do like Shrek. I'd watch the Wu-Tang Clan doing Kung Fu Panda though.